oppression. There has been no oppression for the white man in this country. You tell me which white men were dragged out of their homes. You tell me which one of them got dragged all the way across an ocean and told that you are going to go and work. We are going to steal your wives. We are going to steal your wives. That didn't happen. That is oppression. We didn't ask to be here. We're not the same migrants that y'all constantly come up against. We didn't run away from home. We were stolen. So yeah, we are going to sit here and be offended when you want to sit here and act like, and don't let it escape you that it is white men on this side of the aisle telling us, people of color on this side of the aisle, that y'all are the ones being oppressed.
Oh. Oh, Lord have mercy. Jasmine. Where do I begin with this one? First and foremost, when are we going to start telling the truth about the whole picture of slavery? Just because she went there, I don't even know what led her there. I think some of these people, they, like, half of their psyche, half of their brain capacity is just perpetually on a loop about slavery, racism, systemic system. Like, I think there's a constant loop that's just always going, and they can tap into it in a split second. I think that's what's going on there. But yeah, when are we going to start telling the whole truth about the business of slavery? Vile as it was, disgusting as it was, it's all a stain on human history. All slavery has been a stain on human history. I know everybody likes to think that their version of it was worse than the other, but it was all vile. But when are we going to start talking about the sale of individuals? Now, I think that the movie Roots did an injustice to the entire story of slavery, and then it created a precedent, right? Where people had this image of black folk just being stolen off of the African. They're living in a utopia. It was Wakanda. They were living in Wakanda. And all of a sudden, the white man came and he just stole them, just dragged them from their homes like Kunta Kinte. When in reality, most slaves were sold by chieftains, by leaders, by those in charge of the African tribes. That's just the reality. I'm not saying it was good. All of it was corrupt. All of it was jacked up. But this thing of they were captured before. The people who were dragged out of their homes was the ones who were dragged by other African tribes. And then they had them as slaves, and they realized, oh, we can just put them in the slave trade. There was already a business, a thriving slave market in Africa, throughout Africa. West Africa had its own, Central, East Africa had its own. Southern Africa's had their own versions of it, but the one that then became the most relevant, because we're now in the Western world, is the one in that western coast of Africa. So, yeah, when are we going to start telling the truth about that story? That's the first thing I got to say, and I'm not even at the point of this damn video yet. I am in shock and awe. I saw just a clip of that, and I was like, this is gonna be comedy gold, because it seems like every time this chick opens her mouth, her and AOC are two of the most, they're the most ridiculous characters. And that's saying a lot, because Congress has some freaking weirdos. Have y'all seen the garden gnome with the goddamn purple hair? And y'all got to look it up. Just look up purple hair Congresswoman. Man, I don't know, whatever it is. AOC and Jasmine Croquet, aka Crockett, are just, they're two special sorts of stupid. But anyway, I wanted to get into this conversation of who is it that's actually fighting for affirmative action, or what they now call it is D.E.I. It's the same program. They just slapped a new name on it, and they will probably slap another one as we move into this new age the post-woke era, right? Hopefully we can eradicate a lot of these elements from our culture and just go back to normality, go back to competency, go back to, people actually believing in your ability to be good enough to do the work, which I believe you are. I believe you, even yes, you, as a black person, you are actually more than competent to get any position without the need for any sort of advantage. I thoroughly believe that. I believe in you. I do. I really do. But there are people who are actively fighting against the eradication of something that shouldn't have existed in the first place. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is nothing more than an excuse, a lie for these far left neo-Marxists to push their agenda, bully their agenda of basically becoming the power structure. They're lazy in getting their power. Like, if you want power the old way, do something that makes you impressive. Become Michael Jordan, okay? And the world will look at you in awe. Like, become the best at what you do, and people will look at you. But instead, it's this new form. It's, I'm oppressed. I'm a victim. Look at me. Look at me. No, give me attention. Give me admiration. Give me affection because I'm oppressed. Is that enough? And then we're like, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I will give you my attention because you're oppressed, I guess. Yeah, I'm the most oppressed, actually. And then it's like, no, I'm the most oppressed. I'm the most oppressed. I cut my waiter off. I'm the most oppressed. And you're like, whoa, you must be you must be demon possessed if you ended up doing something like that. My God. But nevertheless, I digress. Let's get back to the rest. Yeah, D.E.I. is a business. D.E.I. has become a power and money grab. I think it actually, well, there could have been some right intentions in there somewhere, but overall it is built and founded upon the principle of how do we get what we want by doing the very least. And so we blame that guy for being our oppressor. We're the oppressed, and then, we get our way. Give us positions. Give us seniority, even though we didn't necessarily earn it. Representation. We need more people who look like this. Okay, why? Are they going to do a better job? Well, no, duh. Why would they have to do a better job? They just, they're brown. These people are the ones who are terrified of the end of DEI, because it means the end of what they have built, what they have created. They have invested so much of their bandwidth, their energy, time, energy, and attention into. Think about it. They have created entire departments in schools. For example, I think it's the University of Iowa, who is one of the most recent to get rid of these DI programs. And they were actually one of the biggest, what is it? Or the one of the first to institute a lot of these DI programs and really go deep. Right. So gender studies, women's studies, this, that, and the third, all of that was going on. And all of a sudden now they're brave enough to pull the thing away that's become more problematic, not just financially, it's not just losing them there, but also it's causing more divisiveness. Like, that's one part most people don't talk about when it comes to DI, is that it's actually creating more division within these corporations, within these schools, etc. It's more problematic. And of course it is, because you're creating a hostile environment. Imagine you have to go to work and hear all day about, your white ass, you know what I mean? Or maybe a more tame version. You need to acknowledge your white privilege. You need to acknowledge your male privilege. You're mansplaining. No, I'm your supervisor. I need to explain the job to you. No, you're mansplaining me. Oh, this is the patriarchy. This is the patriarchy. I voted for Kamala. Like, at a certain point, you're just like, shut the hell up. I just want to do my job. And some people, they got pulled from their job. They couldn't even do the job. They got fired. They got pulled. They couldn't get the position or whatever it was, because they no longer fit the criteria that they wanted to fulfill through their agenda. So just imagine overnight, now you have the curtain getting rolled back. Now you have, DJT, aka Donald Django Trump, because he's a free man, stepping into office. And guess what? The ruse is up. The game is over. People are finally brave enough to say, damn, I was tired of losing money. Finally, I can get rid of this damn thing. Man, we were tired of these annoying ass, so-called professors, these pseudo scientists telling us that a girl and a boy are the same thing. It just depends on which one you want to be today. We were tired of that. And so they roll it back. And now you have the likes of the Jasmine Croquets and the AOCs and the Elemental Ps and the LBGs, choose T's and P's and I's and E's. You have all these people freaking the hell out right now because they invested everything into this system. They built this system to get their way, and now they're losing their power, their quasi-power base. It's all they had. If you're not good at something or you haven't made yourself competent and the only reason you're accepted, it's kind of like, let's say you are a basketball player, right? This is like the easiest analogy I could use. And you're like okay at the game. And I'm talking about like okay for high school player, let alone NBA, whatever. You're just okay. You're an okay about. You score maybe 8 points a game, whatever it is. Then there's a program that's created to push you into the NBA as an okay high school player, right? And the NBA is forced through this law to play you, to give you minutes, to make sure you play. Kind of like LeBron James' son, right? Bron, don't come for me, but I'm just saying, Nepo baby. So you are brought into the league, into the big league, the major league. You're forced to get a paycheck, right? 10 million or 8 million, whatever the rookie guarantee is. Then the team is forced to play you. It's a D.E.I program, right? They need to diversify by adding some people who suck at the game as well, right? Some people who are under 6 feet or, a couple of 5'5s in there, etc. You need to throw them into the mix in order to fulfill these quotas. So imagine that I'm now playing, and I'm probably the worst player on the entire. I am the worst player without a shadow of doubt on the entire team, but I have to be played. Everybody else is suffering because of it. Our team is losing every time I'm on the floor. We go down another 20 points or whatever it is. So finally, the law is eradicated. Who's the first person to go? Who's the first person to get kicked off of the damn team once they're no longer forced to play somebody who is not equipped for the game? It's the likes of a Jasmine Crockett. It's the likes of a damn AOC. When the game is now about who's going to get the job done, you don't have Skamala, you have DJT. Simple. You don't have the woman who ran through $2.5 billion and still went $20 million into debt. Instead, you have the man who had around $400 million total and still have money left over after the campaign. That's what you have when people go on the basis of competency. So this is what we're now seeing with the freakouts. Because I was like, damn, they're going hard for this. Like, can't they just... And then I really thought about it, and I say, oh, no, they can't just let this go. They can't just roll over and die. No, they can't do that. They're going to fight tooth and nail to keep these faux positions, the wool that they so-called put over most of our eyes, pretending like we don't see what we're seeing. And I want to share this story with you guys. And, I don't know if I can share the images because I did take pictures of this. Actually, I deleted the pictures quite recently. After I showed my folks what the hell I ran into, I deleted the pictures. So I got in a crazy situation where basically I was behind a car at a four-way intersection. This is an intersection. And car in front of me is supposed to go next. Car's not moving. I honk, car doesn't move. Other cars keep going. I honk, dude does not move. So I go around the car and something in me is just like, look to you. I just look like, what's going on with this guy? I look over. I think he's on his phone like this. His head's just down. And I stay there for a little bit. I'm like, nah, something in my spirit's not right. It's not sitting right. And I'm like, no, this guy is not on his phone. This guy's knocked out. I try to back up a little bit. A lady taps on my car. There was already a lady running around who had seen, basically what I had seen. And she runs around. I get out the car. She can barely speak English. She's like, no, what is going on? What's going on? Boo, boo, boo. I'm like, I don't know. I go up to the car. I knock on the window. Dude is knocked out cold. She goes to the other side, knocks. She's like, no good. I'm like, should I call 911? She said, call 911. I call 911. And craziest situation, but there happens to be an ambulance parked literally in the parking lot right behind us, right? Just the weirdest thing. So a guy who sees us ends up parking down the street, and he comes around and he actually, I guess, alerts the ambulance folks. They bring their car around, and 2 chicks get out the car. Now, again, I'm thankful, grateful to my core for everybody in all services. Like, thank you. Seriously, cops, firefighters, etc. I love y'all to life. We could not do without y'all. However, I was in a real life situation where I seen these 2 chicks come out the damn EMT car, open the door, try to get the guy's pulse, etc. The guy was knocked out cold. There was freaking vodka bottles all on his passenger seat. He was gone. He was gone, guys. And I come over to that side, and they're trying to pull him onto the damn stretcher. Folks, they could not get this man out the car. He was probably a cool 210 or something like that, right? Maybe 215. They're trying to pull him off the car, All right, they pull him out the car onto the car, pull him out the car onto the stretcher. And finally, I'm just like, I'm in the heat of the moment. And so I drag dude. And I'm not saying like I'm damn macho, whatever, but like I use all my strength. I get my legs as leverage, and I pull, and he finally pulls onto the damn stretcher. And, they tell me, oh, you got to step away. And I realized that moment, oh shit, that might be against the law because I'm not, trained for this. This might be a damn body that I'm, now I've got evidence. I don't know. But all I knew in that moment is like, we got to get him on this damn stretcher so y'all can get him into the ambulance. And so in that moment, I helped drag him. Finally, the firefighters come, etc. And the guy's already on the stretcher now, taken into the ambulance. And I just thought to myself, like, so imagine, filling these quotas of saying, no, we have to have this many, women in this, we have to have this many, LGBTQ people, we have to have this. And that's the criteria off those type of jobs. There's going to be people left in these cars. Imagine if it was a worst case scenario, a car's on fire or something like that, right? And they're trying to get him on time, but they can't get him. He's too heavy. Even one of the girls, like, he was so heavy. She said that while she was pulling the dude. In my head, I've never been in a situation like that. So in my head, I'm thinking it's just going to be this, do, mechanical, whatever. No, they were struggling. Folks, they were struggling to get this man out the car. I had to literally drag, to the point I pulled, his shirt came up and stuff because I pulled him so hard. Hopefully he's alive. Once the police ended up getting there, they took my testimony, etc. And a cop came back to me and he said, man, this guy is like, he's too drunk to go to jail. I knew at that point he was going to be good, because he's kind of lighthearted about it. He's like, this dude's not even, like, this guy can't even go to jail right now. He's too drunk to go to jail. So I guess they got to pump his stomach out. Dude had like 5 little things of vodka. But my point being is, as much as these young ladies, they deserve to work at this place or whatever it is, and I'm sure their competency is in a multitude of different things. But, think about that. That was an emergency situation. They're not thinking, oh, we're going to get an emergency, but there's going to be an emergency at some point. That's what the job entails. And if you're not able to do that job, then that's an emergency. You see, like, if it was the firefighters, let's say, big old dudes or whatever it was, and they came, one of them dudes would probably have been able to drag the other guys getting the other stuff ready or whatever it is. But these 2 chicks, they were struggling. I'm not saying they shouldn't be in that department or whatever it is, but, again, and I'm not saying they're D.E.I hires, even though this is in California. I'm not saying they're D.E.I hires, but, we saw what happened in SoCal with the firefighting department. I'm just saying. So again, the rollback is here. The time has come. The time is near. The time is now. And there's going to be resistance like hell. But we got to continue to push for this thing to be withdrawn from our society, because it is not helping. It is detrimental in every respect. It is divisive. It is a drain of resources. And worst off, it hurts the people it purports to help.
I used to be afraid of the dark, place unknown like a heart in their heart. I used to see my life in the bar. Now the kids unchained, every shackle is lost. 2 steps in the moonlight, 2 step in the daytime. You just know when it feel right. You got a feeling the time's not. See you through those shades that I just threw on. Through my lenses, you just can't do no wrong. I fell in love with myself again. I fell in love with myself. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the light. I fell in love with the full moon. I fell in love with the night. I can see the light again. I can see the light. You can see the life in him illuminate the night. I know the time is taking. A 3, 6, 5, that's a full rotation. I see you looking up, you know them constellations. Constantly gazing like house of praises, you get to praising. They see your light shine, that's why they so frustrated. Even the sofa in Nova Scotia will win the bagels. I couldn't get them ease on the grease, why they burning up? Money growing trees, feel a breeze, still you showing love. I can dig your energy. Even in the dark side, know you got that inner peace. You can fill a cup again, your limit is infinity. You manifest a life with all the fixings and amenities. This is more or less a house sitting. A sitting on a house like Snoopy. A teacher, no dog, new tricks, that's bliss. Cause there ain't no Charlie Browns in this vicinity. I fell in love with the sunshine. I fell in love with the